Wednesday, September 30th, 2020. Jae MEAL MANNERS, Level 5, Duration.
All right, meal manners. Let's try this. She is extremely hyper, so let's see how this goes.
Great. Good repetition. You released her before she broke the behavior. Didn't wait too long to release her.
It's been a few days since the camera flipped since you've done this, so see how well she does.
You said, let's see how well she listens. Listens to what? You're not telling her anything. You're using the shaping method to teach Jae meal manners. When you teach a dog a behavior using the shaping method, they have to figure it out. You're not telling her anything. There's nothing for her to listen to. This is not obedience training. Put aside any notions of obedience or listening. On level 2, Jae had to figure out how to get you to put the bowl on the floor. And she did. She figured it out. It's by sitting. On level 5, because we skipped 3 and 4, on level 5, when she gets up prematurely, without knowing she's even being premature about it, she has to figure out how to get you to put the ball back on the floor. So shaping is all about the dog figuring it out. There is no expectation for her to listen. So it's okay to walk from point A to point B to put the bowl down, but at the end of the hall, what you're doing is called spatial pressure. And Jae gets up quickly now.
That wasn't good.
Yeah, not good, but it's okay. You did correct. You didn't tell her no. You didn't tell her sit. You didn't tell her she's wrong. We can't tell her she's wrong when she doesn't yet know how to be right. However, what you missed, let's take a look. Level 5, the desired behavior. The notes under level 5, desired behavior. Objective 1 is where you are, trying to get 10 seconds. Below the red text there, if your dog gets up before you release them, if they break the behavior, it means you waited too long. In this case, you didn't wait too long. She just got up quickly. But it also says, pick up the bowl and start again. That's what you missed. You missed reaching down, picking up the bowl quietly. Just hold it. She'll think about it. How do I get him to put the bowl back down? And she'll sit. Why does it go this way? Because you're using the shaping method. That's how the shaping method works. Now, you just told Jae to settle. Where did that come from? Look at here. Under verbal command, it says, shh, not a word. You can't say anything. Good release. Now, here's a bunch of reasons why you can't say settle. Number 1, you can't give a dog a verbal command unless you believe they'll follow it successfully. I'm not sure what settle means to you, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't mean sit. And if it does, that's going to confuse her when you start doing sit training. So clearly, Jae does not know what settle means. Therefore, you should not be saying that verbal command. You should not be saying any verbal command until you believe the dog will perform the behavior successfully. Otherwise, what's happened, hey Karina, if you give your dog a verbal command and they don't do exactly what you want, then you're going to have to retrain it, retrain the behavior because you've been allowing them to respond with the inappropriate behavior. That's spatial pressure. Can't do that. So when you do that, Jae will react to you and she will sit, but we don't want her to react. She got up at the same time. That's going to happen. We don't sweat it. Sometimes the dog will twitch to get up before you can form your lips to say the release word. But back to the reactive, proactive. You don't want Jae to be reactive in training. You want her to be proactive, especially because you're shaping. She has to figure it out. So when you do engagement training with her, that's when both of you will really learn how Jae is going to elicit a response from you. It's not going to be during engagement training, you getting responses from Jae. It's going to be Jae getting responses from you. And that's how we get her to engage with you. And that's how your dog learns troubleshooting and learns how to experiment and try new things. You standing over her like this is, in a word, intimidating. So she is sitting because you're towering over her. That's not what you want during any shaping method. It's also not what you want during meal manners. She was kind of getting up at the same time you formed your lips to say the release word. It's going to happen, but it tells you that on the next repetition, you need to wait less time, make it easier for her. You got to get the release word out before she gets up. After a bunch of repetitions like that, that's how she learns to wait for the release word. She doesn't know to wait for the release word yet. Under desired behavior, right there at the top, to be clear, point number 1, your dog is not going to wait to be released. She doesn't know to wait to be released yet, but she will catch on after a bunch of repetitions of you releasing her before she gets up. The other issue I have with you doing the spatial pressure thing is you're then walking away from her. When you're working on duration, you cannot also work on distance. By walking away, you're introducing distance. And by all that foot movement in front of her, and as you walk away, you're introducing distractions. Level 5 is duration, no distance, no distractions. It's okay to walk from point A to point B to put the bowl down, but then just do what the manual says. Work on duration alone, work on distance when you get to level 6, and distractions when you get to level 7. Don't combine them until you get to level 8. Jae, get that right there. There you go. Good girl. I did an update under the do's and don'ts. There were already 10 do's and don'ts. Now there's 11. Number 11 has to do with spatial pressure. Please check that out. Your posture is intimidating to your dog. Excellent. And she gave you a longer hesitation, which is great. So when she gets up prematurely, we really don't sweat it. I mean, we don't want to set her up for that. You have to set her up for success. But when she does get up prematurely, it's okay, because that's when she learns to troubleshoot. That's when the real thinking happens. But don't let her do that 3 times in a row. Twice, maybe. Do not let her get up prematurely 3 times in a row. Don't let it happen. How do you prevent it? By releasing her before she gets up. By lowering your criteria. By making it easier for her to be successful. Do not let her fail 3 times in a row. So we'll embrace the failures a little bit, but in moderation. I think this is your last rep. So quick recap. No verbal commands whatsoever, no spatial pressure, no walking away from her after you put down the bowl, less food in the bowl so you can get more repetitions, rapid repetitions, and pick up the bowl if she gets up prematurely. See you for the next one.